2021 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We will begin as we always do with an invocation. So if you would join me in prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, please look over us as we make the decisions for this county and for the betterment of our neighbors, friends, and residents here in our community. Please look over our public health officials, frontline healthcare workers, our first responders as they continue to deal with the global pandemic. Please look over law enforcement and our men and women in uniform here and around the world. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the flag
of
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Manager Southern.
Here.
Manager Berry.
Here.
Manager Putman.
Here.
Manager McCollum.
Here.
Manager Moran.
Here.
Thank you. And you have before you the minutes of the January 26, 2021 fiscal court meeting after a period of review. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I move to accept.
Second.
We have a motion by Magistrate. That was Magistrate Southern.
Southern.
And Magistrate Berry. Second, any corrections, clarifications, additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have a proclamation, and is Maria Shiver with us? I see her name on the lineup here. If Maria might join us and talk a little bit about this Teen Dating Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation, please. We cannot hear you.
I'm the youth advocates counselor for OASIS, and normally my job is to go into the schools and talk to young people about safe relationships, healthy dating, that sort of thing. But it seems I'm more doing damage control more than anything right now, which is really sad at this age. So that's why February is so important for Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, to just make the whole community aware that this is a real problem, and especially in some of our smaller counties. Ohio County, I've done several presentations because they're having a really big problem in the high school and even the middle school there. So it's just our hope that everybody would be aware that this is a big deal and start taking it seriously.
Thank you. Any questions of Maria? Comments? We appreciate you being here today, and we understand the importance of this, and proclamations do help build awareness. Keep up the good work. With that, I'll have our clerk read the proclamation, please.
Whereas teen dating violence, a form of intimate partner violence, IPV, is a serious public health problem and is by far the most prevalent type of youth violence, affecting youth regardless of age, gender, race, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. Whereas annually 1 in 3 teens in the United States is a victim of physical, sexual, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner. And whereas those who report experiencing intimate partner violence in high school are also likely to experience violence in their college relationships. Whereas it can negatively influence the development of healthy sexuality, intimacy, and identity as youth grow into adulthood, and increase the risk of physical injury, poor academic performance, binge drinking, suicide attempts, unhealthy sexual behaviors, substance abuse, negative body image and self-esteem, and violence in future relationships. And whereas teen dating violence can be prevented, especially where there is a focus on reducing risk factors and where teens are empowered through family, friends, and others, including role models such as teachers, coaches, mentors, and youth group leaders, to lead healthy lives and establish healthy relationships. And whereas it is important to create spaces such as school communities where the behavior norms are not of abuse in dating relationships. The message must be clear that treating people in abusive ways will not be accepted, and policies must be enforced this message to keep students safe. Now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the County Judge Executive of the County of Henderson, join other advocacy groups across the nation in recognizing the month of February 2021 as a Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and encourage all citizens to learn more about preventing teen dating violence and to show and support appreciation to the local agencies and volunteers who provide protection, advocacy, and assistance to victims.
I'd make
I
a motion.
normally have a motion from Master McCollum to approve proclamation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Master Perry with the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Many times we give a round of applause after proclamations, but I don't know that that's appropriate in this case. I think it's just a prayer that people who are directly or indirectly impacted by this phenomenon get the help they need and utilize organizations like OASIS to help at better outcomes. So thank you, Maria. And
Jim, if I could, I think it might be helpful if you could explain to the rest of the court how OASIS helps the Henderson community. I mean, I used you a lot whenever I was county attorney. I was on the board for a while, and most people don't even know you all exist. So if you wouldn't mind just sort of explaining what all you all do and how you protect the people that you take in and so forth, if you would.
I have two advocates in Henderson that are always in court when there's a DBO or an EPO or any kind of sexual assault or anything like that. We're the only shelter in the 7 counties. So if there is domestic violence or a woman is in danger, or a man, we take men also. Then we can immediately make arrangements to get them into the shelter and they can stay there as long as they need. As far as the court advocates, we have court advocates in every court. And then I do all 7 counties with my main purpose is the youth, and I focus on them and whatever they need, whether it's counseling, education. We do, right now we're doing Zoom domestic violence education on Monday night via Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So having that in the evening, I have a lot of clients from Henderson, Ohio County, Webster that are on that Zoom meeting, whether they're court ordered to have it or they just want to have it just for the knowledge and to try to stay out of these battering relationships. So yeah, we have programs that are non-resident, which is where I work. So if a woman is needing to relocate or to be safe or to get housing to leave the abuser, then we can help with all that. We do financial assistance with groceries and food and childcare and anything.
having trouble hearing Maria. We got most of that. We had an audio problem there, Maria. Sorry about that. But I think it was a good explanation.
I think your facility is somewhat kept secret where it's located. We don't really go out and tell people where it is. It's got cameras, it's got protection for the women, and the people. The police department in Owensboro is very helpful with the protection of that. And we've sent a lot of people over there, and unfortunately.
Yeah, we're not hearing you, Maria.
Sorry, Maria, we're having issues.
Okay. Yes, we have, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. We have 24-hour police patrol from Owensboro, so someone is always near or around the shelter. We also, we have panic buttons in several of the buildings and in the rooms where police could be contacted immediately if something happened or we needed something. But yeah, cameras all over the place that are watched 24/7 by staff.
Maria, for people who might be watching this later, can you give your contact information?
Yes, the shelter is, the phone number is 270.
We are another audio issue there, Maria.
OASIS is the shelter number at which they can connect you to non-resident or the shelter is 270-685-0260.
Thank you.
Do you
Maria,
have an office at the Presbyterian Church?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an office in the Presbyterian Church?
Yes, in Henderson, yes.
Maria, the Chloe Randolph organization here in Henderson works with y'all too, correct?
Yes, they do.
And I know Jay and very well, and they want to help people that if they can. So the resources here, if anyone needs it, please use them.
Absolutely.
All right, any more comments or questions for Maria about Oasis? Once again, thank you, Maria, for joining us, and hopefully people hear this message and take advantage of your services if they need them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is request from Henderson County United Way for their new Henderson Recovery and Relief Fund, and representing, I believe, the Board of United Way is our friend Mark Chumbler, who is with us. And Mark, I will turn the floor over to you to explain why you're here.
Thanks, Judge. I really appreciate the opportunity. Most of what you just said in your introduction is correct. Actually, as an executive committee member for the Henderson Restoration Recovery Fund, I don't currently serve the United Way, but I'm actually here in Melissa Clement's stead. Melissa's been under the weather the last couple of days and originally was supposed to be here, and she apologized, sends her regrets, but on this topic, I'm truly honored to be here in Melissa's place. And I will tell you to begin that I'm really here not only on behalf of Melissa, but on behalf of committee members of the Henderson County Recovery and Restoration Fund, Melissa, Executive Director of the Henderson United Way, Bobby Garrett, our friend, Executive Director of the Henderson Housing Authority, City Commissioner Brad Staten, and then your fellow magistrate, right, we're going to call with Tim Southard, newly appointed member of our executive committee. And Tim, we hope you get to join us in our first meeting with you here in a matter of days. So it's great to have you as a part of this fund.
It's good to be on.
This committee was formed early last fall as a result of looking at the need of local organizations, local 501c3 not-for-profit organizations in Henderson County who have been impacted by the pandemic in one or both of two ways. Either the organization's fundraising has been negatively impacted by the pandemic, and therefore it's harder for them to fulfill their mission, or due to the services and the mission of that organization, they have that organization or those organizations have had to dig in even deeper than normal to help in some shape, form, or fashion the mental, emotional, relational, or financial health of folks who are marginalized in our community due to the effects of the pandemic and the lockdown, et cetera. So we were formed really in somewhat in response to the COVID-19 Response Relief Fund of Southwestern Indiana. That fund that has now raised more than $5.1 million since late last March, and has distributed more than $3 million in Southwestern Indiana to local human service organizations. I will share with you briefly that just like you, I serve several community organizations. In fact, I counted in preparation for this, I serve 5 different organizations. Some of those organizations have prospered through the pandemic and have done incredibly well for a variety of reasons. Some of those organizations have truly struggled as a part of the pandemic, related to one of those two things that I referenced earlier, either more challenging abilities to raise money with their normal and ordinary fundraising activities, or just that they are serving areas of the community most adversely impacted by the pandemic. And so we're here to try to help those organizations restore and recover themselves to get back to the footing that hopefully they were at prior to the pandemic, and help them see the light as they move forward to be completely restored as we hopefully come out of the pandemic. I would guess over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months. I will share with you very briefly that our goal, we set a goal of $200,000 after we did a survey last fall of local human service organizations to see how impacted local organizations had been. We thought at that point that if we raised $200,000, that we would go a long way to helping those organizations most directly impacted by the pandemic. To date, we have $100,000 that's committed. I'll share those commitments with you. We have $25,000 that's been committed from the Cook Foundation, $25,000 through the emergency fund of the United Way. And I will also share that the United Way board has agreed to serve as our fiscal agent. This is not a program of the United Way. Simply they're serving as our fiscal agent for this organization. Wellborn Baptist Foundation has committed $25,000. A local private donor who are friends of all of us on this call is committed $25,000. And then we are seeking commitments from county government through this request today, city government through a request that we will initiate this afternoon, and then through 3 other private community initiatives from which we are currently seeking funding. So we hope to help those organizations that have been negatively impacted in those ways that I referenced earlier. I failed to mention this, the last thing that I will say before inviting your questions. Request for funding, we hope to begin that process April the 1st. We are getting ready to begin the process to appoint an allocations committee that will look at the financial statements of the last year of these organizations, make sure these organizations are still in good standing with their 501c3 status with the Internal Revenue Service, and then interview a representative from these organizations as we go through the spring. And then we hope by the end of spring to be able to distribute these funds to those organizations. I would certainly be happy to take your questions, to hear your concerns, and address whatever needs that you might have as we make this request of the county.
Well, Mark, this is Butch Putman, but I think it's a great effort to pursue this because this is specifically for Henderson County. This money stays in Henderson County. You know, and it's more when I listen to you, this is all about sustainability going forward. We just don't know how long this COVID thing is going to go on. And I served some boards as well, Salvation Army being one of them. And we had a good year last year, but that money goes quick. When you're serving as many people and trying to help as many as we do, that's history, what we done last year, because that money will go pretty quick. And as well as the rest of the agencies, the nonprofits here in town. So I applaud the effort for what you're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Butch. And I will say to Butch's point, he's completely that all of this money raised, even though you can see that some of this money has come from entities that are based in Evansville, all of this money will be for community service organizations based here in Henderson County, serving individuals and families here in Henderson County.
Mark, by being under the United Way umbrella, does that make it qualify for the 501c3 qualifications for being tax deductible?
Absolutely. Great question, Charlie. It does. So every donation made to the Henderson County Recovery and Restoration Fund is a tax deductible donation. So thank you for that question.
Mark, to clarify, as you're asked $25,000.
Yes, our request of the county is $25,000.
To remind the court, we have been approved for right around $1 million in CARES Act money that helped us recoup our costs related to COVID over the last 11 months. And that will be eventually parked in our contingency appropriations line item. And all to say that the $25,000 is something we can easily afford. It will not impact, even without the CARES money, we could have afforded it. But that $25,000 is not hard for us to do. And as you remember, we gave $100,000 to the HERF fund, which Mark referenced earlier, and that did a lot of good. And I think the flip side of that coin is exactly what he's talking about, and we've talked about, is the impact on nonprofits that help people. The $100,000 were direct payments for rent and utilities and other expenses like that. But the very organizations that continue to help that very same population throughout the year are suffering now and need our assistance. So I appreciate the effort. It's certainly needed.
Judge, if it would be appropriate, I would move that we make that $25,000 donation.
We have a motion.
I second.
We have a motion by Master Putman, a second by Master Moran. Any other questions, comments?
No, just, I'm sorry. Mark, just one thing. That's okay. I mean, it's a great thing to do, and I really appreciate seeing you involved in it. So I know it's going to be ran well, and I think it's a really good cause. So thank you.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that very much.
And I'd also as well like to thank Magistrate Tim Southern for stepping up and getting involved in that executive committee as well. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Yes.
Tim, we're looking forward to serving alongside you. We appreciate you saying yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brenda, will this require a resolution or a ordinance amending the budget in any way?
No, there is appropriate funds in the contingency appropriation line item.
We do have.
We'll need to make a transfer, I'm sure, of some sort into a line item out of which we can pay the $25,000, but that should not. We'll probably have to do that the next meeting, Brenda.
Yes.
So Mark, it may take towards the end of this month to actually get a check written, but it sounds like you've got time still you're still organizing in many ways. So.
We are, and your timing is perfect. And again, because United Way of Henderson County is serving as the fiscal agent, the checks can be directed in that manner. And I will just say we're humbled by the county's desire and willingness to be a part of this. We're incredibly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, Mark. Send our goodwill to the board, and we'll be getting you that money as quickly as possible.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, we have Mr. Hubiak with us, and he wanted to take a moment to clarify a slight mishap we had with our material bid recommendations last meeting. And Bill, I'll let you explain from there.
Thank you, Judge. Members of Fiscal Court, I apologize for we left out part of the information from one of our bidders on the court meeting of 01/12 of 2021 when we opened the bids. If you look at your minutes, in the bid opening under the bituminous concrete under item 2, we had Rogers Group, J.H. Rudolph Road Builders, and Yeager Materials. Well, during the process after the meeting, we made photocopies of all the bids to be able to tabulate them and make the recommendation. And the Yeager Materials bid was, for some problem, not photocopied either by my error or machine malfunction. I'm betting on machine malfunction because I never make an error. So, as you can see, you all have in front of you the added in Yeager Material bids. And with that, you'll see they are the successful bidder in the hot mix surface applied at $55, hot mix binder at $53.95, and hot mix base at $53.35. So with these added into the tabulation, I would like to make the correction and have the fiscal court amend the bid award from Rogers Group to Yeager Materials for those items that I just stated, please.
I would like to correct Bill's mistake. I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
I would second it.
There's a motion to correct Bill's mistake. We will not blame the machine because it's not available to come on the meeting and defend itself. So we have a motion by Master McCollum, a second by Master Southern, I believe. Any other questions about this? I'm glad Bill caught it. We want to be fair to all bidders. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're welcome, Bill. Please avoid making.
Thank you all
such
for
errors in the
correcting my mistake.
Oh,
Bill, if you don't mind, while you're with us, I'd like to go ahead and transition to a request you have that you was brought to my desk yesterday, and I thought should come before the court. And with that, I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you, Judge. I have a request for a pay increase to one of our employees, Miss Teresa Childers, who was hired in as the Parks Director. And she was hired in under a probationary period to see if she could adhere to and learn the functions at the road department, along as well with the parks, and are also our new PO system. She has completed the 6-month probationary period. The line item that I want to have this approved from is under the parks supervisor. It is a line item number right now. The scale is up to 40,000. Ms. Childers does not make that. She was brought in at a lower number. The line item is only at 32% of what it would be, and I would like to bring her up to the pay increase to meet the hourly wage that would equate to the 40,000. In other words, it would be an increase up to $19.50 an hour. So it's in the budget. It was brought in. She was brought in to see if she can learn the systems and be able to handle the stuff at the road department and the parks. And she successfully has done that and has taken on more duties. So any questions from the members of the court?
Any questions or thoughts about this?
what's her salary now, Bill? An hour?
Right now she's at $17.37 an hour, which equates out to be, if she was there for an annual basis, it would be $36,000.
And this is to go in effect now,
Yes, this would go into effect now. This would be an hourly increase. The line item with the 40,000 in it that was allocated for that position at the end of this fiscal year will still be under the 100%. Jimmy, she's not going to draw 40,000 because there was a vacancy in that position for a couple months, and that's why it's such a low number as it is.
I'm just wondering, why aren't we waiting until budget time and do it at budget, just like we did the police officers?
The number was brought in at 40,000 for this position at the beginning of the year. When Ms. Childers was hired, we brought her in at 36,000 on the hourly basis for the probationary period to see if she would be able to learn the systems that were required of her before taking anybody up to that increased number. So she has taken on more responsibilities at the road department.
Any other questions of Bill? Thoughts of this? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second, again, to reflect an increase in hourly rate based on the end of a probationary period and still under the budget for that position that was approved earlier when we did the obviously approved positions for the fiscal year. So, any other questions? So we have a motion.
I guess, if Bill, if you was going to go out and hire that person today off the street that was experienced, you'd probably bring them in at this level of pay.
Yes, sir. That's
experience.
Yes. Ms. Childers was brought in because we wanted, at a lower rate, just because we wanted to make sure that she was capable of learning the systems and the procedures at the Parks Department and the Road Department.
Yep. And you feel totally comfortable that she's going to be able to measure up to
Yes.
All the qualifications?
Yes, she has taken over the financials of the PO system that was this, Paula was out last week and trained her on those things. She has taken over in the HR department, takes care of all the payroll timesheets and everything that we had allocated to her.
Right. Thank you, Bill.
Isn't it true, Bill, that some of those responsibilities weren't in the original job description? She's been asked to.
No, they were not.
Take those on and has done a great job.
That's correct.
Paula Wilson's been very complimentary of the job she's done in those regards. And Paula's not easy to impress.
Judge, I call for the question.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Next, we have the detention center report. Amy Brady, I believe, is just getting back from vacation or is maybe still on vacation. And I'm really glad she was able to take a vacation because she certainly needed it. Her right-hand person, Lori Quarles, is with us. Any updates to the reports that are in the packet for the magistrates, Lori?
No, sir. I think that they are pretty much the same thing that's, excuse me, been on the quarterly report.
Lori, I understand you all got some of the, at least one of the heat and air units replaced that's been needing it for a long time.
Yes.
Any other additional comments from the jail committee, Charlie or Beth?
They've been awesome with what all they've had to deal with. It's incredible what all they get done.
Just to put it in perspective, how well I think our jail has handled the COVID issues, which are ongoing, and knock on wood, that continues. But I think the Webster County Jail just had an outbreak of 40 inmates testing positive. And
Davis County did too, about 50.
Yeah.
What happens now with those two jails, I'm not sure. I don't know what the plan B is for them or where those go. I imagine they might knock on Henderson County Jail's door to maybe take a couple. I don't know what our position is on that, but it's a very dangerous proposition. So interested to see how that goes. But I think it just reflects on how well we've handled it here in Henderson County so far.
Jailer Brady has done a great job in quarantining her staff, of quarantining these people. And Davis County and Webster County need to quarantine them at their place, not bring them to us.
For sure.
I agree, Charlie.
We don't need any more.
Can I get a motion to accept the quarterly reports, please?
So moved.
I move to accept. Second.
Motion by Master McCollum, second by Master Moran. Lori, thank you for pinch hitting today. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Lori, tell your staff we appreciate what they do.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gold, your report.
I've got several checks to turn over today that I gave to Mr. Reeson earlier. Lots of little checks, some larger ones. Jail fees collected, $1,269.75, $144.76, and $261. Interest, several checks, $50.38, $2.05, $20.26, $4.81, $233.15, $7.55, and $64.14. Yes, those do all have to be divided out because they're different accounts and whatnot. So the total remitted to county today is $2,057.85, bringing the fiscal year total to date $106,863.79.
I would make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion by Master McCollum. I'll give the second to Keith Barry. Master Barry, thank you. And any other questions of Steve?
Hey, Steve, on these jail fees, is that where people pay when they're incarcerated?
Yes, the county enacted an ordinance several years back to have a per diem fee. A lot of that is, I understand, recovered through commissary and whatnot. But we do have people that are, once they're released and they have some sort of balance, they can come into our office and make payments. Also, I believe they can come into the jail and make payments. So we have people paying like $5 a month or something like that. But it adds up. As you see, the total fiscal year total to date was $4,297.92.
So do we go after them if they're not paying, or what's the?
It can be grounds for revocation of a conditional discharge, but that's a pretty extraordinary measure. If you're going after collecting $30 and putting somebody back in the jail and costing us more than that, we have to think about that.
Right.
So that is something that is weighed and discussed. But we try not to cost more than we're bringing in. Plus, we want to make sure we keep the idea of justice first and foremost, and not doing more harm than good.
And that's why the bar is set so low at like $5 a month or whatnot.
I was going to say, we do work with them the best we can to get them to pay it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's we've got a lot of folks on real small payment plans, but we want to make sure that they can meet those obligations and other obligations that they have, but also comply with the ordinance that the fiscal court has enacted.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Steve? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, Steve. We'll check in with Treasurer Ryder. Any claims?
Yes, I have some claims today. From the general fund to on-duty depot in the amount of $18,754. This is for equipment setups for 2 new sheriff vehicles and is to come from the sheriff's vehicle appropriation line. From the road fund to Green Tree Plastics LLC in the amount of $2,925. This is for 5 picnic benches that will be made from recycled bottle caps and is to come from the Parks Program Supplies appropriation line. Also from the road fund to Vomac truck sales and service in the amount of $144,450. This is for the 2021 Mack truck that was approved and is in the budget and is to come from the new machinery equipment appropriation line. From the jail fund to Old National Wealth Management in the amount of $235,725. This is for the principal and interest payment for the 2017 general obligation bond and it is the debt service for the previous kitchen project. Also from the jail fund US Bank, which is the credit card, in the amount of $2,185.54. The majority of this is to come from the appropriation lines of staff training, equipment repairs and maintenance, and data processing equipment.
Need a motion to approve the claims?
Judge, I move we pay the claims.
Second.
We have a motion by Master Putman, second by Master Southard. Any other questions of Brenda? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Anything else, Treasurer Ryder?
That's all.
Thank you. I do have a request of fiscal court. As you know, Jonathan Dixon, who is a member of the County Board of Zoning Adjustment, was elected to the legislature. And we need to fill that seat. And I had talked to Mr. Wes Alexander, I think who many of you know. That's former Master at Alexander's son, who is now, I think, leading the maintenance and garage at the school system, former educator as well. And he seemed very, very interested in helping. He's a Henderson Leadership Initiative graduate, and I personally try to seek out Henderson Leadership Initiative fellows to participate more in governments in this way. And Wes is eager to tackle this. And it's an important board, as you all know. The Board of Zoning Appeals takes appeals from people who have matters that have been adjudicated by the Planning Commission, and if they disagree slightly, they go before the Board of Zoning Adjustment for a decision. And so I'd like to offer up Wes Alexander filling the seat vacated by Jonathan Dixon on the Board of Zoning Adjustment. Anybody have a motion to that effect?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion by Master McCullum, second by Master Putman. Any questions? Again, Wes seems eager to serve and love it when younger generations get involved. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Bill,
Thank you.
Bill's waving his arm at you.
Huh?
Bill wants, Mr. Hubiak's wanting.
Bill, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Judge, I have one more item today. I'd like to request a fiscal court to either go out for bid or purchase off of the state contract, whichever is cheaper, a 2021 F-250 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup truck to be able to replace a 2008 E350 van that is in very bad shape. It was a hand-me-down vehicle from the jail, which we very much appreciated and have utilized up to this point.
And that's for Parks Department use?
This will be for the road department, and we trade down, and this will also, it's a budgeted line item.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Master McCullum, second by Master Berry. Any other questions of Bill on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Bill.
Thank you all.
Okay, we'll go around for good of the county. Let's start with Master Putman. Anything for good of the county, Butch?
Thank you, Judge. One item of interest is this Thursday on February 11th, the Salvation Army is going to be having a food box distribution. It'll be a drive-through, first come, first serve, and it'll run from about 11 to 1. And again, I appreciate the court and what they did on that Restoration Act that the United Way is going to, although it's not their fund, it's just they're going to be the flow through on that thing. I think that's a way we can help our community and continue to serve. And I think that's what we're elected to do. But other than that, Judge, everything's good in the fort. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Master Putman, is the Salvation Army publicizing that food giveaway?
I hope so. I'll look on Facebook and see to make sure, but it is this Thursday starting at 11 o'clock, and it is a drive-through.
I think Ms. Smith from the Gleaner hopefully heard that and maybe can help in some way. 11 to 1 Thursday, food box giveaway, various items in these boxes, correct?
Yeah, they're already boxed. I can't tell you specifically what's in them, but yeah.
First come, first serve.
Right, 11 to 1.
Okay, and it's drive-through at the Salvation Army parking lot, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
Master
you.
McCullum.
Yes, everything is good in the third, in the fifth. And I just like to thank all our elected officials. We've really done a bang up job with everything with the COVID going and everything we've got to work with, the weather, the road department and everything they've done. And even with Bill's mistakes, we've really done a good job.
At least I know what district I'm in.
I knew that was coming.
That got stuck in the machine.
Oh, I will have no comment on that, but that. Thank you, Master McCullough. Master Southern.
Yes, I got on Orange today. The Chloe Randolph organization actually having an Orange It Up Day for the Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And so I'm sporting this nice orange sweatshirt and about to melt down in here. But I'd like to say, it's sad I gotta even have this conversation, but if anybody putting their hands on you or not treating you the way you should, don't hesitate to reach out to someone at the Chloe Randolph organization or the Oasis. It's you deserve better than that. We should all be treated well, and people don't need to be abused, and we have to step up and do a better job of making sure this doesn't happen. And the Chloe Randolph and organizations, they're there to help you. So that said, all's good in District 3, and thank y'all.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate your comments. Master Moran.
I'd just like to thank Bill Hubiak and Nancy Watkins and all for their help. I've gotten so many calls in the last week about roads because of the weather and because about trash and people concerns about the internet, since so many people are working from home, and I appreciate all the people that I've contacted, and they've always been helpful. So thank you for that. And all's okay in the 2nd District.
Thank you. And Master Barrett.
Thank you, Judge. I don't have much, but I just want to thank all the county offices and the jobs they do, especially the jail. I know that's a job, and it's just tough. And I guess with the bad weather there, the sheriff's office, I know they're busy. They get a lot of wrecks, and I understand there's been a bad wreck this morning down on Highway 60 West. So with that, everything's good in the 1st, and thank everybody.
Thank you, Master Barrett. I have a couple items, some of it speaking to the things that have already been mentioned. Number one, this is Black History Month, and we appreciate celebrations of Black history in our community around the nation. And I know that COVID has curtailed some of the typical observations of Black History Month in our community, but where there are chances to reflect and remember and consider the history of African Americans in our country, I encourage you to do that. Just to let you know that the federal government released to the state of Kentucky funding for the ongoing aid to local citizens who are having trouble making utilities payments due to COVID. And through a CDBG grant, Henderson County will have access to $200,000 to help local folks with that expense. It's a little bit more complicated utilizing the CDBG program, so it's going to take us a while to actually get access to the money. It will probably be the end of April or middle of April before the funds are actually made available to us, but we're going to be in the process of applying for it. We're probably going to designate Christian community outreach to help us with that, help us vet applicants and get that money pushed out to utilities people's behalf. So just be looking for more news about that. COVID vaccine, I want you to know, and for any folks who call you, we are doing everything we can to get more vaccines sent to Henderson County. In many respects, though, we're at the mercy of federal and state health officials. As you know, the governor has laid out a plan for regional vaccination sites. Part of that was based on the limited number of vaccines trickling out to states at the moment, and efforts to utilize the infrastructure that Kroger stores have around the state to distribute these in an efficient fashion, according to the governor. But even before his announcement about that, 6 judge executives from the Grad region sent him a letter urging the state to allow counties vaccine, to do it at the local level, individual level, again, because at least in Henderson County, I think we've done a good job getting vaccine out, and in no small part because we have a good hospital here, Deaconess Henderson, who's doing so much work. But even Deaconess cannot get their hands on vaccines quickly enough, or with the governor's direction, we may not be able to get vaccines sent to the local level. So it may be concentrated in this regional model. But if you have constituents asking you about this, we're doing everything we can to try to get as much locally distributed vaccine as possible. Senator Mills just made an impassioned plea on the floor of the Senate to try to get more vaccine for our region and our county. So we're trying, but it's a very difficult situation. And if you see the news, vaccine is in short supply around the country. It's hit and miss, and understandably so. They're trying to vaccinate millions of people and make vaccine at the same time. It's hard to go. So we'll just ask people to be patient, encourage them to get on waiting lists at our local health department and at Owensboro Health, which is probably the closest distribution center. Those resources are available online or via phone. So that's our best guess at the moment. And if you have any questions about that, please contact Clay Horton at the Green River District Health Department. He's a great resource. And, or I can answer as many questions as you can, but I don't know any more than Clay does. He's the expert.
Hey, Judge, just
Yes, sir.
speaking to that Owensboro Health, I had an appointment yesterday and the lines looked pretty long when I got in there, but I'm telling you, they went so quick. You're not there long.
Good.
I mean, you're in and out, and I found the most efficient way is to go online and do that online as opposed to the phone, because you can call and you can be on hold forever. So when you go online, it seems to go a lot quicker and you can get registered to get in there. And just a side note, as I just was looking down, and the Salvation Army does have that food giveaway posted on their Facebook page. But there was another email that come down the pike that said that they had released a new round of COVID vaccines, I guess, to the health departments in these regional areas. So I would even encourage people to call our local health department. And it said that release was going to happen this week for that vaccine. So I'm sure y'all got the same email I got. So this
Clay Horton let us know that could be happening soon. The health department does have a waiting list, an extensive waiting list, and they're going to be getting to those people first.
Right.
But if they get through that group, they'll be able to distribute more. So anybody who's not on the local health department waiting list, put your name in there, and we'll have to see what happens. It still is limited to local citizens 70 and above at the moment.
Correct.
And first responders and those other groups that were initially vaccinated. So all we can preach is patience, Butch.
Yep, exactly.
Internet. You might have missed last week some good news that was initially thought to be bad news. Kenergy announced that it was no longer attempting to put together a fiber to the home network itself. Its business model was not quite what the PSC, Public Service Commission, wanted to see, but it found a partner, a private sector partner, and I can't remember the name of that company, but it was listed in a news release that Kenergy issued last week that intends to build out the network that Kenergy had initially planned, utilizing Kenergy infrastructure. Again, it will be a private company doing this. It has investors and will again be utilizing the poles and easements that Kenergy has, I believe. And so if that is carrying on, then there is a map towards fiber to the home, high-speed internet in the Kenergy footprint. So we expect to be hearing more about that. That is very good news. With each month that goes by, there seems to be more options for rural folks in our county. Not even rural. Some are pretty close to town and don't have great internet service. So I'll keep you posted on that. It is good news, and it's pending some more announcements, but we will pass those along. Tomorrow morning, I'll be testifying before the House Licensing, Occupations, and Administrative Regulations Committee on behalf of Ellis Park and our community in the debate about historical horse racing. And I think we all understand how important the legislature fixing the HHR issue and allowing Ellis Park to stay in business is to that very iconic institution in this county. It is no exaggeration to say that if the HHR issue isn't resolved to the benefit of the tracks by the General Assembly, Ellis Park will close its doors and it may never reopen. The owners of Ellis Park, Laguna Development, have said that without HHR revenues, there is no path for them to make it a viable business. And also as a reminder, they have already invested $23 million in Ellis Park in both the purchase and improvements, and plan another $50 million in investments in Ellis over the next several years, which is all amazingly good news. They've already begun to hire more. They have improved the track, the look of the track. It was badly in need of maintenance that they are doing. But none of those plans will come to fruition without the General Assembly fixing this problem. And so again, I'll be testifying on behalf of proponents for the HHR issue, and wish me luck. It appears as if it will pass the Senate without much issue, but the House is harder to predict. And many House members don't believe they're really impacted by this and have a hard time understanding how important it is to communities like ours.
Brad, doesn't part of that money go into the purses, and that what they used it to help to boost the, so this is going to have a ripple effect on the horse industry as well. I mean, it just.
Absolutely.
If they can't understand it, I don't know. It just, but I appreciate you taking the time to go up there and testify, because I think it's not only important for Henderson, but it's important for the whole state of Kentucky, the thoroughbred industry. Without this, and I'm sure it's going to hurt Churchill Downs and the other tracks as well. So, yeah, it's very important.
I don't think many opponents truly understand the breadth and depth of the horse economy in Kentucky. And while the big tracks, Churchill and Keeneland, it won't impact them as much. For Turfway, Ellis Park, Kentucky Downs, this could be a death knell. And again, that's not an exaggeration. And you're right, a good part, besides just profits that can be used to pay salaries, the increase of purses increases the number of quality horses that come to Ellis to run, and simulcast revenues, which are derived from people around the country betting on races at Ellis, rise when the quality of the fields increase, because experienced bettors would rather bet on horses that have a track record and are more quality than they would yearlings, or not yearlings, but maidens, inexperienced horses, cheap horses. And if they don't come to Ellis, they tend to go where there are casino-supported racetracks, such as Indianapolis and Shelbyville right outside Indianapolis, and Charlestown Races in West Virginia, which are both connected to full-blown Las Vegas-style casinos, which subsidize their purses, their payouts. So the competition for Ellis is almost unfair at this point. The one bullet they've had in their gun the last 10 years has been historic horse racing revenues. And that did make a difference.
Brett, I think that the horse we were having trouble fielding a full horses to come to Ellis, because they were doing exactly what you said. They were going up to Indianapolis. They were being drawn and siphoned off because of the higher purses in the other states, and we couldn't compete with that. So it really does have that ripple effect. If it's going to hurt the horse industry, just something terrible if that happens.
Completely agree. So hopefully we can make a good case in front of this committee. I will say the leadership of the committee is for the fix of HHR. We'll just have to see what the general attitude in the House is, but we'll do what we can. I saw David Crafton online. David, anything you'd like to add to any of this? Any updates? Anything you want to throw in?
I don't think I have anything, no.
Okay. Thank you. Unless anybody else has anything, I will entertain a motion to adjourn on a very efficient fiscal court meeting.
So
So
moved.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Magistrate Putman, a second from Magistrate Barry. I will do that, and all those in favor can leave.
Yeah. Thank you,
See you,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck tomorrow, Judge.
Thank you.